Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's final day of Mahindra Global Chess League 2025. What a great event it was. So, third place match and the finals. I don't want to dive deep into third place match. I mean, just a couple of great games. Go check them out. So, it was quite interesting actually, because Ganges Grandmasters ended up winning the first match. So, they played two matches against each other, so they got a win. And then the next match, Alaska Knights got a win and it became equal. And what happened next, they played another two matches, basically tiebreak matches. Now, Alaska Knights ended up winning back-to-back, and they are the third placed team in this event. I mean, and remember in the start of all these recaps, when Alaska Knights were on the very bottom with 0 points, I mean, I kind of didn't believe in them, so I gotta be honest, because, I mean, they were playing horrible. It all started to Cash on having a successful tournament, then Arjun was kind of shaky, Linier didn't show his best, and the women boards as well as junior boards didn't have any success. But then, slowly, they started overcoming these problems, and eventually, third place team. I mean, what a turnout. But let's get to the finals between Triveni Continental Kings and SG Pipers. I mean, that was a wild match. And we start by taking a look at the first one they played. So, Kings have white and Pipers have black. Firuja versus Fabiana Caruana. So, e4, we have e5. Knight f3, knight f6. Petrov defense, and d3 not going for main Petrov. So knight c6, g3 playing some, some unusual stuff, takes, bishop g2, and generally Fabi doesn't have any problems here. Let's quickly, scroll through the middle game. So a3, the idea to maybe push before at some point, but now a5 is played, disallowing this option. c4 is played, knight f6, knight c3, and the idea is to play bishop g5 and maybe slide the knight to e4. So h6 is played, exactly, bishop e3. Potentially, what I want to see from white is to play c5 and maybe before, but again, it's very tough to accomplish. And d4, yes, this is good. Knight e5, attacking this pawn, knight b5. And the idea right now, I mean, I'm not sure, like knight c4, and apparently Alireza wants to set up some counterplay despite being down a pawn. So c6 is played, knight d6, king d6, and now b3, and Fabi blunders by playing bishop g4. I mean, not a real blunder, it doesn't blunder any material, but after f3 there are just too many pieces under attack. And guess what? The mistake is played, knight b2. And Alireza played fantastic move, knight e4. So the idea here is that after knight e4, bishop b2, now both pieces are under attack. So e4 and g4, that's exactly what happened in the game. And now Fabi plays king d2. The idea is that after king d2, knight d2, and let's say someone like after g4, knight f1, bishop f1, the position is still somewhat unclear. I mean, but white probably should win the game. But there is just slightly stronger option, which is king c1. And once again, if king takes, there's probably bishop takes is the easiest. And then, still two pieces are under attack. So bishop c1, and now bishop goes to e6 after x4, and now white are just up a piece. And of course, it's a fairly easy conversion, so we just quickly scroll. I mean, Alireza didn't really have any problems and smoothly converted the game. Bishop d4, I mean, checkmate is about to come as well. Bishop e2, now rook takes, bishop a4, this pawn comes as well, bishop f7, rook h1, rook h4, bishop e3 is a checkmate. Some checkmate threats, a lot of checkmate threats, and Alireza won the game. The second game in this match is Anish Giri versus Wei. Anish is playing with Pipers, so let's see what happens. So e4, e5, and once again, Petrov defense, and we see d4 as opposed to d3 or main line of knight e5. So d takes e5, d5, again, very boring line in my opinion. But okay, I mean, people play it just to be solid. King c2, bishop e6, Anish developed all his pieces pretty good. Knight c6, the idea is potentially trade knight, maybe knight d4, castle, long castle, bishop e4, king c4, trying to trade queens, king goes to b8, not even being scared of bishop c6 and b takes c6. So king a6, bishop g5, takes, now king b6 protecting the pawn, and now takes, rook b3, trying to set up this one, knight d4, king a1, just 6, b3, rook d7, doubling the rooks on d file, potentially pushing c4. So honestly, like rook d7 is played because you don't really want to spend any time playing, let's say, rook c8 and then rook d8 because it's kind of slow. Rook d7 and you do it in two moves. and you kind of connect d file, c file, so makes sense. So rook c8, king g2, knight goes back to c6, bishop f3, and rook f8. So now I can see that potentially there are problems in f file, there are problems in e5 pawn, so rook f7 is played. Bishop c6, king c6, f3. And now rook takes f3, sacrificing and playing the position where you will have queen for two rooks. Takes, and now queen f4. Queen is activated, pawn on e5 is a weakness, so it's a bit complicated to play. a5 is played, g5 was slightly more accurate, and then you're trying to basically go and push the pawns. But a5 also makes sense just because you want to hide your king maybe on the queen side, anything probably further than, let's say, c7, b6. So it makes sense. Again, king a7, rook f2, now pawn goes to g5, h5, and queen takes on h5. So now position is already crushing for black. Rook f3, queen goes to d1, king c2, king b1, slowly creating even more weaknesses, and they played for a while here. I mean, it is a bit tough to convert when you have two rooks. So king goes to c1, king d1, king d3, king b1, you know, just back and forth, but slowly, yes, I mean, Anish improved his position, he was trying his best, and they played 98 moves. So let's quickly scroll through it. He created another pawn, so now he has two pawns on the chessboard. So king c5, king c6, king b5, he's trying to push it so badly, king d5, king c4, and you see he made some progress. He took another pawn. I mean, now it becomes for sure, I mean, completely lost. King f5, king d4, king f4. Now he just needs to maybe sacrifice one of his queen for one of these rooks, and then eventually, you know, king walks, he promote one of the pawns, take this one, promote, and so there was really no chance. King f5, king f6, king d3, c2, king d3, and king g4 finally took the rook. I mean, pretty much here you can already take, and king g4 play something like king d2, and the position is still completely winning, just because, let's say, this, I don't know, king c3, and you can play once again e3, king f3, king d2, rook g2, even back, and king b2, and let's say c1, you still have the pawn, so it's completely winning. So king h2, king g4, now if takes, promote the queen and win the game. So, and we get to the second match. So the first match was won by Alpine SG Pipers, and now it was the second match, Fabiano Caruana versus Alireza Firouzja rematch. So d4, knight f6, c4, and once again King's Indian defense on this chessboard. Knight g4, bishop g5, one of the main lines. h5, knight d2, knight h6, f3, and now bishop potentially goes back to f2 just in case. Bishop b3, king b1, and now c5, slight mistake, bishop b1. Very smart. So you remove the bishop and you're trying to play g4 and maybe even h4. So knight f1, g4, yes sir, and now h4, yes sir. So Alireza is of course trying to create a lot of counterplay on the queen side, because I mean, if he doesn't do anything, he'll be just checkmated immediately. So b takes e6, king d7, g5, bishop a6, g takes f6, king f6, and h5, opening up absolutely whole king side of black. This king is safe, this one isn't. So knight g3, takes, b3, king c1, and suddenly, yes, I mean, Alireza managed to kind of put pressure on Fabi. Queen a1, king g4, and the position becomes very, very unclear. Let's say queen f4 and position is suddenly winning, so bishop c3 is a mistake, bishop c3, and king g3. I mean, this looks honestly horrible for white. And yeah, Fabi missed a lot of great chances. He was +2 at some point, +3, but Alireza is known for his sharpness, and this sharpness paid off. So bishop d3, queen a4, takes rook f1 first, and after king g7, Alireza lost on time. But this position is drawn, because after rook f7, king f7, white can secure a draw, because queen is too far, rook is too far, bishop is too far, and this h5 pawn is extremely useless just because it blocks g6, e pawn blocks f5, so there is no escape for the king. It would have been a draw, but unfortunately for Alireza, it is a loss. But we move on to the next game. Anish Giri once again. Now he plays with the white pieces against Wei E. He won the first game with black, now with white, c4, g3, Catalan defense, Catalan opening, a4, c5, knight a3 attack on the pawn on c4, takes, and now king goes to d4. I mean, pretty good position for white pieces in my opinion. King g5, knight f6, knight goes to d3, attacking the bishop, bishop d4, now knight f2, setting up some knight f5 plans. Bishop e6, knight f4, h6, knight f6, attacking the queen, so queen, if this pawn takes, knight c7 probably wins the game, and now king g6. This knight is in a terrible spot, this knight is unmovable, so queen f7 is probably what you have to play at some point. Bishop f3, now this is under attack, queen c5, rook a3, and this is just hopeless. Rook f7, b4, so the idea right now is of queen b4, bishop h5, and white wins the piece. So queen f5, rook d3, opinion on d-file, and now knight c4 attacking the queen. Queen now moves this way, takes, rook d4, and the position is just hopeless. You have two pieces for the rook, you have active bishop, you have bishop on c1, all pieces are very well placed. I mean, it's just hopeless. Knight f5, knight d3, d5, rook c4, king e1, h5, bishop b2, knight f5, and you might see the pieces for white are playing themselves. So Anish doesn't have to do anything special, just, you know, create threats, and eventually there's just too many weaknesses to attack. So knight a7 took the pawn, rook d2, bishop e5, bishop e6. I mean, just hopeless. Knight e7, knight goes to g6, bishop g3, and now rook e8, rook h8, checkmate isn't coming. Knight f4, rook c4, d3, king f3, knight d5, and for king g4, finally, wait, he admitted his loss. And we move on to the final game of this recap. Pragnanda playing against Swedish Gujarati, 4 e5. Once again, a lot of e4 e5, 4 knights, bishop b5, knight d4, bishop c4, bishop c5, Spanish variation. Knight takes e5, attacking pawn f7, queen e7, knight goes back, d5. Very precise, bishop d5, bishop g4 is a mistake, pawn goes to 3, but honestly, I kind of like this position for black just because there are a lot of other things that go on, and, you know, you might potentially try to create some mating attack, so it's actually not bad. But apparently, I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like Vidit forgot some theory, because after takes, Prag is having a good advantage. He's threatening this bishop, tough to play. So bishop e3, a4, castle, king b1, e3. Everything is protected. This knight will be superior to this bishop if those dark square bishops are traded, so it's very good position for white. So bishop d4, now a lot of attacks are potentially coming against this king side, very weak. So rook goes to g1, trying to attack g7, king h8, rook g3, and now rook goes to g1, threatening g7, and now you also have some rook g7, bishop f6 ideas, so it becomes complicated. So a5, now takes, you cannot take due to rook g7, so g6, now it has become serious. And if d5 now, it's actually bad due to bishop d5, and position suddenly is not that winning. So queen f2, and now h4, trying to open up the king side. c6, h5, takes h5, rook g2, queen comes to h4, knight f4 as well, bishop b3, sacrifice, rook g7, bishop a2, king b2, king c4, trying to set up some perpetual checks, but after rook d7, king b4, king a2, and b takes a5, it turns out that there's not much that, you know, black can create. Queen comes to b3, this, queen b2, and the game is concluded as Vidit resigned. Let's say king a4, king b1, no rook b8. The next plan for white is to push d5, take on f6. Let's say something like this, d5, rook f8 protects, check, mate. And just like that, the favorites in this event, Triveni Continental Kings, couldn't win the first place match. And Alpine SG Pipers are the champs of the third season of Global Chess League. They fought a lot for the second spot to go to the finals, while Continental Kings secured it with 1 round to go. So, you know, they were considered favorites, but I mean, alas, SG Pipers. What an event. What an insane too much final. So, the winners are Fabi, Anish, Prag, Howie Fan, Nina Batsiashvili, and Leon Luke Mindonk. I mean, just, you know, team competition, that's what we want to see from time to time. You know, it was great. Let me know if you enjoyed the event, because I think it was a lot of fun, and I'll see you in the future videos. I mean, the recaps of World Rapid and Blitz Chess Championships are coming in a couple of days. It's gonna be a lot of fun for you, I hope, guys. So that's it for today. Once again, let me know any feedback you might have. I know I was very quick with the recap, apologies. I mean, I'm flying to actually to Dubai and then to Doha to see this World Rapid and Blitz, so that's why I'm kind of busy right now. Have to edit it, have to upload it, so all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon. Bye bye.